thing the Republican Party has done for black people? One!
What? They were the party of Lincoln. They stood against the tyranny of oppression by leading the call for the Civil War and forced passage of the Emancipation Proclamation to free the slaves.
I named two things lately.
I named two things lightly. Undercover Brother, Dave Chappelle, fun stuff, good stuff. More history in that than you're going to get in your history class at Harvard. And Dave Chappelle, the great Dave Chappelle from Washington, D.C., moved out of here, moved to a small town in Ohio. Dave Chappelle. Just great. All right, let us go back to the telephones because I rudely cut Nick off. He was in the middle of his thoughts, and I get to that. And then more Democrat craziness, stealing elections all over the place and lying whenever they start speaking. So that's coming up, too. But let's get back to Nick. Nick in Purcellville, Virginia. Nicholas, I'm so sorry. You were talking about all kinds of good stuff, too, and I know you had a lot more to say, so I wanted to come back to you, Nick.
Thank you. No problema. Mm-hmm. Chris, I think I have a short solution here for the birthright citizenship problem.
Uh-huh.
States issue birth certificates, not the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, states can legislate a law that says that if you come into this country as illegal parents or an illegal single mother and with the intention of birthing a instant citizen of the United States, then you are subject to a fine, a removal, and you won't be issued a birth certificate. You will be issued a train ride or a bus ride back to your country.
Mm-hmm.
And if the baby has bills from the hospital, it should be billed to the country of origin. And also, if we contribute money to that country, it should be subtracted if that person does not give us the money.
Well, the one immediate problem that occurs to me is, let's look at California, for example. They'll do whatever they can to ruin this country, to destroy it, to harm us, to hurt us. And they'll go ahead and eat that because they think it makes them the good guys, you know. So also, and you know, Nick, that the Chinese, what did we learn recently? More than 600 companies in China make their living entirely on setting up trips for pregnant Chinese women to come to California to give birth, to secure U.S. citizenship for their children, and then flying back home. And California knows this, and California is happy with that because they want to see America become a third world, non-English speaking, crime-ridden hellhole. You know, Democrats.
Well, but the red states can do this.
Yeah,
and
but
also, if
you get U.S. citizenship, so even when California gives away the currency of U.S. citizenship, the rest of the country has to respect it because the Democrats gave it away in California.
Well, but if you read the 14th Amendment, it says subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That means the states have a right to subject you to their laws without the federal government interfering. I understand what you're saying. You're saying it's all cancellation, but at least we can prevent some of it, I would think.
Well, maybe, but, again, I got to tell you, Nick, it's the war between the states.
I agree.
I
agree. It's not good, but we got to do something.
Well, the Democrat Party is here to destroy the world, and they're starting with the United States of America, and that's not even hyperbole at this point there. We're going to pack the Supreme Court. We're going to throw statehood, Puerto Rico, and D.C., and start giving it away to everybody in there. They want to throw the Senate, the Congress, the courts completely out of whack. They've already bankrupted us. We're $38 trillion in debt. And as I like to point out, Nick, if we started paying it off at $1 a second, it would take us more than 1 million years to pay it off. And they're bankrupting us. They're taking away our cultural identity. They're destroying the separation of the branches of government, and they're stealing elections all over the place. And now, here's all of New England, made up of 6 states. Every single representative in the U.S. Congress from those 6 states of New England are Democrats, not a single Republican from those 6 states. Yet, New England has 40% Republican voters, 40% Republican voters, zero representation in the House of Representatives because the Democrats gerrymandered those 6 states to the point where they've stolen all of those congressional seats. They're stealing democracy. They're undermining our system of government. They're making a mockery and a sham of the greatest democratic republic in the history of the world. Our constitutional republic and our way of electing people has been the model for the whole world for generations. And now the Democrats, because they're the left, they're the international left, they're here to destroy it all. And I got to say, if you say, okay, they'll let the states choose, but then all the Chinese know, and what's his name? El Chapo, the drug lord from Mexico who's in prison in the United States now. He has 2 kids that are U.S. citizens, and he's a Mexican drug lord, and their sons, I believe they're both sons, and they get U.S. citizenship because his wife came to the United States to give birth, and boom, boom, you're done.
Well, I agree with just everything you're saying. It's totally true. But don't you think that there is some chance that the Supreme Court of the United States could act on this whole subject and issue some kind of decision?
I'm nodding, thinking, yeah. And that's why the Democrats want to pack the Supreme Court, because they're filthy, third world corrupt. And now they haven't packed it yet. And you're right, the Supreme Court. But I got to tell you, the Democrat Party is waging civil war against the United States of America again, and everything they say is a lie. And this, I'm going to get to more in a minute, Nick, on California. But Massachusetts is 36% Republican, and they have 0 seats. Connecticut, 42% Republican, 0 seats in the House. Maine, 46% Republican, 0 seats in the House. It just got New Hampshire, 48% Republican and 0 seats in the House. Rhode Island, 42% Republican, 0 seats in the House. Vermont, 32% Republican, 0 seats. It's not just New England. Hawaii is 38% Republican, no Republicans. And in the House of Representatives, Delaware, 42% Republican. They only have 1 House member. 0 seats in the House, and it goes on and on. It's just a minute. New Mexico is 46% Republican, 0 seats in the House. And the explanation for this, if the New York Times or a CNN or a 60 Minutes would like to investigate it, is that Democrats have gerrymandered the hell out of those states to the point where they have stolen all of those seats in the House of Representatives. And if, Republicans need to, they're doing stuff now, but they need to come out, and if I were the Speaker of the House, I'd go to the microphones every day, and I'd be pointing these things out, to point out every day. I would hammer how corrupt the Democrat Party has been for years and years and years, and that anything the Republicans are doing now in Virginia or anyplace else trying to do is trying to create balance, to reset balance. But these people, and Nick, you no doubt know the story of Chicken Man, Steve Cohen from Tennessee, Democrat member of the House of Representatives, who brought a bucket of chicken into a House hearing and sat there and ate it. And he's Chicken Man, and he's a white Jewish guy who is a third world leftist, and the Democrats have him in what they call the black seat that they carved out and drew around black populations and said, okay, this is the black seat. And now they've elected this white guy for 20 years who says that he's the black representative when he's the white representative, and the Democrats are protecting their black seat when they've been putting a white guy in it for decades now. I think he's been there 19 years now. And Steve Cohen, the Chicken Man, was on TV with Fredo Cuomo on whatever network hired him. And Fredo Cuomo, wasn't he fired because of all the sexual abuse of women and the Pound Me Too thing? Isn't that it? And then, you're a Democrat, and he gets another multi-million-dollar job for being a sexually abusing groper. And the Democrat Party is really somebody. Fredo Cuomo, listen, Nick, thank you. Thank you for the call. And this is a fight that we've got to have, and I hope that the Republicans are up to it. But I'm not sure, and it'll certainly be part of the discussion, Nick, but I'm not sure that that saying, well, now it's a states issue because Democrat states will wave them in. And look, they've been flying illegals all over the country on our dime to put up in hotels on our dime and give them English as a second language tutors in every school on our dime because they're transforming America. It's the fundamental transformation of America that Hussein Obama threatened. And Fredo Cuomo had the chicken man on, and he's like, well, I think I'm not going to run again because it's a black district that I've occupied at gunpoint for the last 2 decades. Chicken Man Steve Cohen and Fredo Cuomo and Chicken Man on whatever TV he's doing now on how they're going to save democracy by destroying it.
I'm upset by this. I think it's really bad for the democracy, and I'm a fan of yours.
Democracy.
So I don't like it.
He's a fan of his.
And
Man.
I don't get the criticism of stand and fight. Why would you fight when they change the district and there aren't enough votes for you to win? That's silly. But what?
Why would
I just
you
wanted to
stand
give you a couple of minutes to tell
when they
people
change the district?
what you think this means for the democracy.
For the democracy. So you go to Chicken Man to ask him what it means for the democracy. Well, let's go to New England. Let's go to Hawaii. Let's go to New Mexico. Let's go to all the states that the Democrats have gerrymandered, and they did it years ago. And again, New England is about 40% Republican registered voters and voters in presidential election years. Not a single representative. And Fredo Cuomo's got Chicken Man here. And, oh, I love you. I want to get in the hot tub with you. I want to save democracy with you because we need another white Jewish guy in this black seat that the Democrats carved out because they're racist. Isn't it amazing? Steve Cohen, the Chicken Man, responded to Fredo.
The House of Representatives is the people's house.
No.
And theoretically, people are elected from districts that are compact and have common interests.
Common.
What the Republicans did, and the Democrats did a little bit in response, is to try to get an advantage this year. Mid-decade redistricting is almost never done.
Almost never, except when we do it, it's okay, and when they do it, it's not. And hey, and where's Cuomo asking about New England? He owns several houses, and I got to tell you, Steve Cohen.
And here we are again. And I got tears.
Well,
he's crying.
Steve, you're crying now, not
crying.
for Steve Cohen. You're crying because
Not
you
for
know what
Steve.
your service meant to that community.
No, he's crying
and that
for
they
him.
needed it, especially in that state, and it
No.
was taken, and it was unfair.
No, that's not it at all. That's not it. Boy, is that not it. I got to tell you. Now, in California, they've come up with this jungle primary because they're the third world. They're tree dwellers. I'm a cliff dweller. They're tree dwellers and pit dwellers. They're turning into troglodytes, the Democrat Party. Here's Gavin Newsom. So in this this jungle primary, what they've decided, let's throw out the way that America has elected people forever. And let's come up with a completely new, idiotic, left-wing, radical, stupid, low IQ way of electing people. And so we'll have these primaries, and whoever gets the greatest number of votes in the primaries, whether they're both Democrats or both Republicans, they're going to be the ones on the ballot on Election Day. And it's turned out that the Democrats had their tricky little jungle primary, and the top two vote getters are Republicans. So only two Republicans will be on the ballot as your choices for governor. And the Democrats saw that happen, and they said, oh, no, we've got to blow that up with explosives and Molotov cocktails like it's a Jew's house or something. And here is the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who, remember, was banging the wife of his chief of staff, and he was having sex with the wife. And he's married, and they're all married, but not to each other. Never mind. Here is amazing. A reporter asking Gavin Newsom about what you guys have done.
You've spoken about accountability. Do you think Democrats will hold you accountable for standing by this principled neutrality by withholding your endorsement in this non-possible scenario where two Republicans take the ticket?
We all have agencies. We can shape the future. There's still a lot of
agencies.
I've said this before, so I'll repeat it. I don't anticipate this need to be the case, but there is a break the glass scenario, and there's many people that have a deep understanding of what it would look like if Democrats were locked out, and we're going to do everything to make sure that doesn't happen. I'll leave it at that.
I'll leave it at that. If there's a break the glass scenario, the Democrats created it. The Democrats come out on the losing end of it, like the Supreme Court in Virginia. They don't like the outcome, so they're going to throw out the whole system that they themselves created with the jungle primary, right? They're going to throw that out, and I got the Democrat Party because they're stealing the governor's mansion. Only 2 Republicans would be on the ballot on Election Day, and I said, well, screw that. We're going to blow up the whole system, the jungle primary that we thought was like, jungle boogie, jungle boogie. They thought, we're going to call it the jungle primary because that's going to make us hip. And there's something racist about it, too, vaguely racist about the party of slavery, calling it the jungle primary. And then when they come out on the losing end, just blow it up. Just throw it away, get rid of it. It's gone. And we're going to reinvent democracy again. And the way America elects people, the model for the world for centuries. But never mind that. Mother's Day. We just had Mother's Day. One of the most wonderful moments of the year to celebrate life-changing news. You've probably seen it at family gatherings. Someone said it's Mother's Day, and someone will stand up at the dinner table and say, guess what, Mom, Grandma? Next year on this day, we're going to have a brand new mother in our family. Cheers. Yay. Everybody's very happy. Nothing like it. But for some women, Mother's Day may feel very different. Instead of celebrating, maybe just kind of staying quiet, not weighing in, afraid, unsure, feeling all alone perhaps. That's why preborn exists and why preborn was created. When a woman sees her little helpless baby on an ultrasound and hears that tiny heartbeat of her son or her daughter, it very often doubles the chance that she will choose life. This month, Mother's Day month, you can help be the reason that a scared young woman becomes a confident, happy mother. Just $28 provides one ultrasound. That's less than $1 a day for the month of May, and it could help save an innocent human life. That moment leads to all kinds of real support maternity care, parties for baby clothes and rattles and all kinds of good stuff. So much wonderful stuff. It all starts with that ultrasound. To get involved and save an innocent little life, simply dial pound 250 and when prompted, say the keyword baby. That's pound 250. The keyword is baby. Or you can go to Al Gore's amazing internet to preborn.com/plant. That's preborn.com/PLANTE. So there's Gavin Newsom. They got a break glass thing. I have more to say about this. So the Democrats fought decades ago to get this jungle primary put on their ballot as a ballot initiative, and then the Democrats voted for it in favor of it. The jungle initiative, it's the stuff of the third world, and the Democrat Party today is the stuff of the third world. And this now they can't believe that 2 Republicans are the top vote getters, and they'll be the only 2 options for governor on Election Day. So the Democrats are working hard with the governor there, and the media. They're working to undo what had been democratically achieved by a ballot initiative and a statewide vote. And now that it's not going the Democrats' way, they need to throw Molotov cocktails at it like it's a synagogue. New York City. California, the jungle boogie. The Navy Yard in Washington, D.C. Don't go to the Chipotle. Violent mobs of the young criminals that the Democrats are raising, or not raising, as the case may be. And the city councilman there is the guy who says that the Rothschild family makes it snow in Washington in the wintertime because Jews control the weather so they can buy your city and take it over because Jews. Elected Democrat, Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, America, we are on the rocks because the left has taken over the Democrat Party. And in California, they have the jungle primary. This is amazing. And now they want to undo it because it's not coming out the way that they had. Their plan was that the primaries, Democrats would get the most votes in the primaries. And they'd organize it, and they'd threaten people, and they'd pay people, and get it up. And then there would be 2 Democrats on the ballot on Election Day for governor, and those would be your only options. So the Democrats believed that they had rigged the system. that they had corruptly stacked the deck in their favor and against the Republicans, and they'd be the only ones on the ballot. And then when it turned out that that was not only not the case, but it looked like there would be 2 Republicans on the ballot as opposed to only 2 Democrats, as they had planned and schemed in a criminal theft, political corruption, third world kind of way. Now they've said, well, now we need to blow up what we've done, and we'll pretend that it's kosher because, they hate Jews anyway. But California Democrats is the San Francisco Chronicle. California Democrats are no longer panicking that the party will be locked out of the governor's race because they've got a new illegal trick in mind. But the tumultuous campaign has nonetheless moved some stakeholders to press forward with an attempt to scrap the state's jungle primary. And this Leah Suzuki at the San Francisco Chronicle, she obviously likes the jungle. The latest reason the system has caused concern for Democrats, that's where they keep their brains, a provision in the top 2 system forbids voters from writing in a candidate in the general election, eliminating a crucial backstop. See, the Democrats' conspiracy the whole time has been that we're going to have 2 Democrats on the ballot. That'll be the only chase. And look, we've got an escape valve here. If it turns out not as we had plotted and schemed like the criminals that we are, then we'll just tell all the idiot Democrats and all the illegal aliens to write in whoever the radical leftist, anti-American, probable child sex trafficker, drug trafficker is. They'll just write that person in. If 2 Republicans had advanced to the general, Democrats would not have been able to marshal support for Kamala Harris or another write-in option. Now that it seems likely at least one Democrat candidate will advance, although that doesn't necessarily appear to be the case, there's still a possibility that candidates could face a Swalwellian scandal that takes them out of the race. Swalwellian is a new term that the Democrats, for Eric Swalwell, they're amazing. Just Clintonian, Swalwellian, amazing. Without a write-in option, a Republican may be the only possibility for voters in that scenario. And this is, again, the Democrats rigged it. They thought in favor of themselves and their own party, and it started to not work out because they've so mismanaged the state of California. Illegal alien gang members, you got who is it, the Luigi Mangione lover that burned Pacific Palisades, billions and billions in homes. People still haven't been able to move back in because the governor and the mayor are not allowing them to build because they're effectively communists. Pretty amazing stuff. But wait, it gets better because they went to Democrat left-wing radical California operative Stephen Maviglio, probably a long string of organized crime members. And Stephen Maviglio said, California Democrat, says, it's a failed experiment, and even the remote possibility of a Democrat having to choose between 2 Trump Republicans in November is enough to scare the bejesus out of anyone. And it can't be Jesus because he doesn't believe in Jesus, but bejesus he believes in. So says the Stephen Maviglio, the veteran Democrat strategist, who filed an initiative this month to undo the top 2. Undo the top 2. They created the top 2. They created the jungle primary. Now it looks like they're going to lose it, so they need to burn it to the ground like the third world communists that they are. As he described the concept, the undo the top 2. Isn't that amazing? He is aiming to get a measure before California voters in November of 2028. It would essentially revert to the old system. You mean the American system of electing people that has worked for centuries better than any other country in the world until these fascist, communist, Nazi cross-dressers came in here and said, hey, let's rig the system. Let's be as corrupt as we possibly can because it's California, and our friends in the news media with whom we all have sexual relations, they'll backstop us and it'll be great for us. We'll steal everything in perpetuity because only Democrats will ever be on the ballot in California. One-party rule and that's what they were shooting for. And now it looks like it might not work out, so they have to blow that up. And now these clowns, these organized crime criminals, they say, well, 2028 we can't get it on the ballot, in the past, so they'll get it on the next ballot. Certainly, and it's pretty amazing, just amazing stuff. Certainly, the possibility of this happening has highlighted the flaws of the process, said this Italian criminal. Just amazing. Yeah, we hadn't figured it out before you clowns came along, how to elect people in the United States of America, and you jungle primary people came along. You should all be in handcuffs and in orange clothing. Just amazing. Not that he needed to be convinced. Mavaglio, like many Democrat and labor leaders, we lump in labor leaders, has long opposed the top two system. You guys got it on the ballot. You guys voted for it. You guys stuff it, okay? In part because he didn't do what proponents promised back in 2010. They got it on the ballot in 2010 when 54% of voters supported the creation via Proposition 14. They got Proposition 14 on the ballot for the jungle primary, and they just knew that there would be only Democrats on the ballot in election after election. And here we are. Looks like two Republicans, because you guys have burned the state, flooded the state, opened it to illegal alien, human traffickers, drug traffickers, child sex traffickers, the gangs from Venezuela and Mexico and El Salvador and every place else. Amazing stuff. Plus, the jungle primary sapped power. Here's the real problem. From the top political parties, which is why both statewide Republican and Democrat parties opposed Proposition 14 16 years ago, in what the San Francisco Chronicle says, in a rare moment of unity. That's nearly 2 decades ago, 16 years ago. And the San Francisco Chronicle calls it a rare moment of unity. They use the words, but they don't know what they mean. Just amazing stuff. Framed as political reform, the top two system was actually the offspring of a backroom deal. No kidding. The Democrats, in 2009, Democrats in the state Senate needed one vote to pass the budget. So they turned to moderate Republican Senator Abel Maldonado. He extracted something in return for his support, putting the top two primary proposal before voters. Sure. Maldonado, backed by fellow moderate Republican Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's how long ago they passed this thing. And now it looks like two Republicans will be on the ballot, and they've got to murder that because they're criminals and thieves, and they're Democrats, I think is the word that I'm searching for. Proponents also predicted that Prop 14 would give independent voters an equal voice in primary elections. Technically, that has been fulfilled, said UC San Diego political science professor Thad Krauser, who has studied the measure's impact. Voters who register with no party preference can now vote for candidates from either party. That doesn't actually fix the problem. You know, you're an independent, you could always vote for anybody, unless they prevented people, well, in the primaries, okay, where previously they could participate only in the Democrat Party. So independents could only participate in Democrat Party primaries and not Republican primaries. They're so corrupt. They're the third world. They're the fourth world. They're Pol Pot. They're building death camps, honestly. The California Republican Party allowed only registered Republicans to cast ballots in its primaries. Well, that would make sense because the Democrats would sabotage all of that. Just amazing stuff. It is the third world. The Democrat Party. They've got a new theme song, the Democrats in California. Hey, we'll rig the elections years in advance. Only we will be on the ballots. They'll have no choice but to vote for us. Not the Communist Party, not the Democratic Party, just the Socialist Workers' Party, which is where these people are. And this leads us to all of the Democrat Party attacks on Jews. Oh, by the way, there's a good news story out of that, too. You remember when the Democrat showed up at a museum in Washington, D.C. and murdered two Israeli embassy employees? assassinated them, really, I think is the right word, assassinated these two because they're Jewish. And a young man and a young woman, lovely young people, and the Democrats, well, they incited violence against Jews and synagogues and Israeli embassy. Remember, it started with a Democrat self-immolating at the Israeli embassy and killing himself. He was a Democrat. Then a lady Democrat self-immolated at the Israeli consulate in Atlanta, Georgia. And then the two were assassinated in Washington, D.C., outside of a museum, shot down, gunned down after an event there. And the Democrats, they were fine with that because that's who they are. It's a pretty amazing story. Now, the Justice Department has announced that they will seek the death penalty for that Democrat who committed those horrible crimes. And it was a racist, genocidal, anti-Semite, double homicide on the streets of Washington, D.C., on the sidewalk. And I gotta tell you, the death penalty. Now, the Democrats are against the death penalty, but unless you're being assassinated by Democrats on the streets of New York or the streets of Washington, D.C., for being Jewish or for being a CEO, that's the death penalty that they like. And I got to tell you, the Democrats are a threat to civilization. And now the Democrat, they're going to oppose the death penalty for this guy. So Elias Rodriguez is his name, charged with premeditated murder and terrorism in the deaths of two Israeli embassy staff members in Washington, D.C. And because we now have, and it's a federal crime, and the Democrats love to call things hate crimes because they think of crimes as love crimes. Oh, no, this is a hate crime. You guys are a hate crime. Let's just start with that. So Justice Department to seek death penalty for a man charged with killing two Israeli embassy staffers, and the Democrat that murdered them raised and weaned on the hatred, the violence, and the anti-Semitism of today's Democrat Party. Justice Department will seek death penalty for the man accused of fatally shooting two staff members of the Israeli embassy in Washington outside a Jewish museum, prosecutors said in a court filing on Friday. Today is Monday. Elias Rodriguez faces federal hate crime and murder charges in the killing of Yaron Lashinsky and Sarah Milgram as they left an event at the museum last May. Rodriguez shouted, "Free Palestine," just like Democrats everywhere, during the shooting, and later told police, "I did it for Palestine. I did it for Gaza." And the Democrat Party incited this on campuses everywhere because, boy, they're just unbelievable, aren't they? They are something. But they got this anti-Semitism thing is the Democrats are all about that, Yes, sir. And we got that. Also, another terrorist arrested who was planning on attacking targets in the United States, a radical Islamic, this time not a Democrat, a domestic American Democrat, but a militia commander tied to Iran, plotted attacks on Jewish sites all over the United States, Arizona, New York, elsewhere across the United States. His name is Mohammed. That's hard to believe. What are they all named Mohammed? Got Mohammed Gasser Saad Dawood al-Saidi, and he's accused of leading an attack in Europe, multiple attacks actually, the New York Times, and being part of a retaliation campaign by Iran. Gosh, who would they want to retaliate against? Prosecutors say that he is leader of the Kataib Hezbollah, an Iraqi militia with ties to Iran. And he was planning on attacking Jewish sites all over the United States, and he's been arrested and actually overseas and now brought to the United States for trial. Iraqi-based terror commander extradited to New York City faces charges of plotting attacks on Jewish sites in Israel and the United States of America. Aren't they amazing? Also, yeah, it was on Friday. It seems like it's been a long time since Friday, doesn't it? More than 300 protest blood libel published by New York Times. The protest took place outside of the New York Times headquarters in New York. because their boy wrote this ridiculous story made up by jihadis that Israel trained dogs somehow to rape Palestinian women. And that's what the New York Times reported. And they're loving Nicholas Kristof. And then only after this were we all enlightened to the fact that Nicholas Kristof's father was a Nazi in World War II and wore the Nazi uniform and fought for Hitler. And the protest, 300 people outside of the New York Times in New York. During rush hour, crowding the sidewalk outside the building to protest the May 11th Nicholas Kristof column accusing Israel of sexually abusing Palestinian inmates, including training dogs to rape them. This is the Democrat Party in 2026. All enemies, foreign and domestic. And I just learned we've got a Democrat on the line. Is that right? Is he? Does he hate the Jews like all the Democrats do? And is he using a racist fake name? He's using it. All right. Let's go to Cletus, calling from North Potomac, Maryland. Cleotis, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
My name is Cletus Breedis. Middle name's William, but all the women call me Cletus Will Breedis, and that's what I do. I just want to say I'm a Democrat, and I just jaywalk because I'm a Democrat. Who bought this station? Is this Newsmax I'm calling?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I just don't know.
Cleotis, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm Jewish. My name is Cletus Breedis, and I am a Hebrew, and I voted for Harris.
Have you ever been diagnosed with mental illness?
Yes, I have. I have been certified that I have spent time in a facility.
I don't doubt that for a moment. All right, Cletus, but do you help people with pharmaceuticals in any way?
I take a lot of them because I'm 69 years old. That's my favorite number.
Yeah, tell me, I got here's Cletus. Cletus is all right. Cletus, you're a lot of fun. Back to the pharmaceuticals now, Cletus.